start to record. So we'll have a quick look at the enunciado. I'm going to share my entire screen, I think. Yeah. Okay. Oh. That was the solution. I'll probably have to cut that from the recording. But anyways, so if we go to Material Docente, we can find lab 3. If we open that up, we see that we're given some data, some base data in RDF that we have to extend with some definitions about RDFS. So we see some information about mythological creatures or mythological figures, legendary figures, and so forth. So what we would like to do is to copy and paste this into the RDF Playground tool. So instead of doing that, I'm going to go to Form, Lab 3, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go to RDF Playground. I'm going to paste here. Okay, so this is in the text part, but I can view this as a graph if I wish. So we can see some different figures, Vishnu, Lakshmi, I guess. Some ways in which they're known and the meanings of their name. So these are blank notes and so forth. So we can also see some information about their alignments. So, okay, what we'd like to do then is we would like to use RDFS to be able to define some semantics for the terms we use in the RDF graph. So the first thing we have to do, in fact, here is we have to put the example prefix. And then we can start to define some stuff for the some definitions. So the first definition that we have to define states that we want to add one range RDFS triple to infer lawful alignment, neutral alignment, and lawful evil alignment. So how are we going to do that? Well, if we look at the data, lawful, neutral, and lawful evil alignment. If we look at the data, we can see that actually I think there might be a mistake in the enunciado. So it says lawful, evil, and lawful, neutral, and alignment. So what we're looking for essentially is to infer that all of these are alignments, which we could do by defining that the range of this property here is the class alignment. So we can do that by RDFS range. We do alignment. So we select RDFS here. So we're in the Al tab. We've copied over the example prefix here so that it knows what this means. This prefix here, and we've added this definition. And what should it infer? It should infer that all objects of the property alignment are of type the class alignment. So just to note that things are case sensitive, and normally we use lowercase for properties and uppercase for classes. So when we apply this, we will infer that lawful, evil, and lawful neutral are in fact alignments. So if we look at the data, what we'll see is a lot of new data. So we'll see that everything is a resource, that classes are subclasses of themselves, and so forth. What we're mostly interested in are these results here: lawful alignment, lawful neutral alignment, and evil alignment here. So this resolves our first problem. If we want to, we can also visualize the data as a graph. But the graph can be sometimes quite difficult to make out. It gets quite dense with all of the additional inferences that are made. For example, everything's a type resource now. So we've got everything hooked up to resource here, which is kind of making the graph, well, certainly non-planar, but it's so you can't draw it without intersecting lines for sure. But if we can maybe look for evil, we see evil of type alignment. Lawful evil, we see it's of type alignment, lawful neutral, and lawful, and so forth. So we see that we have all of the types that we expect. So just to mention that there's a small mistake in the enunciado here. There should be evil, I think. Lawful evil, no, there should be lawful evil and lawful neutral, which will change in the enunciado, but okay. So hopefully you have the idea. And then you can continue with the following questions. Add one domain triple to infer, add one subproperty triple, add one subclass triple to infer. Then we don't really give any hints on what feature to use. Around question 7, there's something a bit trickier that you'll have to think about. This one requires a bit of outside the box thinking to be able to get it. And so forth. So there's 9 questions in total. And so you just need to continue to extend the RDFS definition. So one last thing to note is that as you answer the questions, you can do Q1 or P1 to indicate what part of the solution answers what part of the question. So what is the hash here? The hash is just a comment. So it will not be considered by the parser, it will be thrown away. So that's the lab. Any questions? I see some questions, okay. So just to recall that there's that small problem in the first question. It should be lawful, how does it go? Lawful neutral instead of lawful evil, and should be evil instead of neutral. So we'll fix that. So we'll pass to the Discord if there's no questions. Okay, so see you in the Discord.